Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Number 2 Show. I'm your host, Rafe Williams. Welcome, all you potty people, all you dump trucks, all you poop heads. Like I said, I haven't figured out what to call the fans yet. It is a work in progress. Welcome to this week's Number 2 Show, where we're going to get started right away with a brand new segment I like to call 15 Minutes with Riz. I'm joined by Scott Rizzuto, the host of the Number 1 Show, The Rizzuto Show.
Hello.
He's here with me.
Here I am.
Here he is, and he's only agreed to give me 15 minutes of his time, at which point he will not even acknowledge that he's leaving. He's going to get up and walk out.
So here's what I'm doing. I'm actually going to set my clock here at 15 minutes, and it is going. And so once 15 minutes is up, I'm out.
When 15's up, Riz is out. We just had 4 hours of radio we did together, and now we're here together on the Number 2 Show, and this time I'm in charge.
How thrilling.
What a thrilling day.
How thrilling. What a show today, right, Rafe? Good show today.
We had a great show today. I felt like we were rocking and rolling. We had, there were a couple meltdowns today. That's okay. That happens.
Can we address that for 1 second? I don't mean to hijack anything, but just going back to the Number 1 Show, where if you missed it, go back to the podcast and listen, but Learn got into it with somebody in the chat room.
Yeah.
And it really, for the first time ever, I saw it get to her.
Oh, yeah.
Like
well,
somebody
maybe
was trolling, and it really, really affected her today. And we lost her. We lost her for about 5 minutes in the studio. We had a topic. I was talking about something that I really wanted her opinion on. I looked over.
Yeah.
And her head was buried in. She had no idea what we were talking about.
Were we talking about the man who wanted his wife to pay for the epidural in full?
Yeah, and then I had talked about having, I wouldn't even call them friends, an acquaintance. And their arrangement was he was an older gentleman, had a lot of money. He was a gentleman who was well-to-do, was a real estate guy from Ladue. He had a hot young wife whom he had signed a contract saying she would maintain a certain weight. And if she was, I think they had weekly or bi-weekly weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And then she got whatever she wanted. She got handbags. She got a nice car. He paid for the tennis lessons, everything she needed to maintain that weight. That's the arrangement they had.
Yeah, which, seems like a victimless crime, kind of. I mean, it's subjectively abhorrent to me, but I guess if she's in and he's in, we were saying we imagined that it would be like the old UFC weigh-ins. Once a week, she has to weigh in and be like, yeah. The crowd claps, and he hands her a bag with like $10,000 in it.
She spent the morning cutting weight.
Yeah, she goes I got to cut weight. I got to go to Plaza Frontenac this week.
Well, she's got one of those foil suits on, those spa suits.
Yeah,
she's running around their huge mansion.
Yeah, all these other trophy wives are like, she's trying to come out, and they're like holding the door shut of the sauna, like, you stay in there, girl.
Now, honestly,
you're gonna make weight.
Honestly, it does on the surface. You go, wow. What a misogynistic a-hole.
Yeah.
But then you pull back for a second and you go, okay, she's getting what she wants. This is the lifestyle she wants. A huge rock on her finger.
Yeah.
Huge rock. So she gets to drive the Lexus. She gets the handbag. She gets to go to Plaza Frontenac. During the day, she's going out to, fancy lunches with her friends.
Oh,
and he's getting a hot young chick. Is there a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think probably on a moral landscape, there's an argument to be made there that, that girl's getting everything she wants except seconds. You know what I mean? So, but I guess if that was what she signed up for, it feels a little hollow and shallow, but, maybe the guy's just being on the up and up. He's like, I know you're with me for my money, so I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm with you for your looks.
Here's what I think.
We're both shitty people. Let's be shitty together.
Instinctually, people want to go,
yeah, it's easy.
That is absurd and abhorrent, and I never. But then, okay, am I supposed to be saying that? Because really, I mean,
yeah, you weigh me every week. So
right. I want you over a certain weight.
Yes, you're like, I hired you as the chunker on the show, and you always have to weigh more than me. So we weigh in every week, and if I start to get anywhere close to you, you force feed me muffins on every.
Well, the fact that you're cutting weight.
You're not happy.
I'm not thrilled, to be honest with you.
I know you're not happy about it, but my heart doctor is very, very happy about it. If you guys want to call in, it's 818-532-1420. We're doing 15 minutes with Riz. That's 818-532-1420. We don't have him for long, and you better be good. Don't call me with some bullshit. I know I got one caller on the line. I'm going to get to you soon. We had a good conversation about that today. We did let the chat kind of derail the show, and that's an interesting thing about YouTube is like, sometimes people, the chat rooms, especially stuff live like that, people kind of make it their own show. Like sometimes the chat won't even be about the thing they're watching anymore. They kind of turn it into their own little miniature podcast of all their own melodramas.
Well, and they'll make up their own storylines.
Yeah.
I get it. And I love the fact that people are invested in the show. And I love it. I'm grateful for people participating. Yeah, sometimes, it's over the line. And we learned for a little bit today. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can be kind of, there are times when like misogyny and things like that enter into the chat, and it's never a fun thing. And it gets contradictory too. There was a guy today, he's in our chat now, Big Perm. He's horrible at it. One of the worst. He's not even a good troll, which makes it sad. And he'll contradict. Like today, I'll do a recap of his trolls today. First, he was saying, when we disagreed with learn about the NBA, none of us respected her. We didn't have any respect for her.
The WNBA, yes.
WNBA being as good as the NBA. Then, if I agree with her, I'm caping for her. Then I'm white knighting. Then he starts to white knight for someone in the chat who he knows their baby's mom and says he doesn't take care of his kids. So I'm like, okay, so now you just criticize caping and you're caping for a single mom like a real fucking huge pussy. And then he comes in, then he starts criticizing Moon, and then he starts trying to do jokes, which are absolutely terrible. The guy's just like, and then he starts, I'm going to fight you, man. They hide behind their anonymity.
Love you, Big Perm.
Then when you call him out, Big Perm, Big Perm ain't rolling up, dude. You ain't rolling up, bruh, and you know it. You ain't rolling up on Danny. You ain't rolling up on the number 2 show. You're going to sit back. You're going to eat Cheetos out of your own belly button, and as soon as you're done, the chat disappears and you're irrelevant. But, hey, if you're having fun, man, stay in there. It's all about having fun.
Yeah, Learn's WNBA argument was
terrible.
Was interesting, too. So her argument is, why aren't you watching the WNBA? You like basketball.
Right.
So why don't you watch the WNBA? Because, yes, it's the same sport, but it's played differently. And I like the faster-paced action of men's basketball, not taking anything away from the WNBA. Hey, if you want to watch that, nobody's stopping you. But I prefer watching the men play the more fast-paced, slam dunk. I like that action.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different speed game. And here's the thing, and Bill Burr had a great bit about it. I'll recap it, but he's just like, why... and I asked her this on the air, and, I would ask any woman this. I go, why aren't women going to the games? If it's about supporting and it's about equality, we support our shit. You know what I mean? And his point was, he's like, you guys support. His argument was, the women support tearing each other down because they'll make stars out of Kardashians and Real Housewives. Like, Real Housewives is on its 15th season, and all that's just a bunch of rich, money-grubbing whores yelling at each other and calling each other fat and ugly and stupid. And the ratings are through the roof, but you look into stands at a WNBA game where there's actual skill and prowess and women who've trained their whole life and dedicated themselves to a skill, and there ain't nobody in there. So,
yeah, if 50% of the population are women,
right,
why aren't those stands full?
I'm saying, that's all I'm saying.
It's just a different kind of a way to play the same sport,
sure.
And that's fine. Just like women's tennis is different than men's tennis.
Yeah, and it takes time. And, dude, I'll watch me some women's tennis. You think I'm not? I'm tuning in. It just takes time. It takes time to find its audience, and I think WNBA is the same thing. It's taken time. But, at the same time, you can't just expect, because something exists, for it to be embraced. They have to put a good product on the floor, and I think they're getting there, man. They're getting there. They're flying on private jets. So after this, you know what? Go watch a WNBA highlight.
Listen,
reel.
I like the whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark storyline. You got the villain. You got the the innocent person. I don't know. It's almost turning into wrestling. You want to turn dudes on?
Let me ask you this.
Make it into a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Wrestling storyline.
Honest opinion, conspiracy theory. I'm going to throw it out there.
Yes.
The Reese girl. Do you think that she's falling on the sword? Is she the real hero of the WNBA because she's willing
To play the
villain. To Caitlin Clark's hero. Because if there's just a hero, if they're all heroes and there's no villains.
Nah, I'm not feeling that.
You don't think so? You think it's true jealousy?
I think it sounds like jealousy to me.
Yeah.
That's the gut feeling that I have, and I could be wrong.
Probably.
And if she was playing the villain just to kind of drum up controversy, good on you, Angel Reese. Good on you.
Good on you, Angel Reese. You know what? Let's take a phone call. I got somebody waiting here to talk to Riz. Let's find out what they want. What do you say, pal? You ready?
Oh, yeah, let's go. You got me for 5 more minutes.
Got 5 more minutes with Riz. You're on the number 2 show. Make haste.
Hey. I'm going to drop some serious fucking shit on you fellas here in a minute.
All right.
What? All right, so I'm going to drop some serious crap on you.
Yeah, you said that already.
So, had a weekend, was in the hospital for 4 days, went to Bonnaroo, had a great time.
Okay.
Now I'm back thinking about my situation in the hospital, and I'm scared as shit. I got to have open heart surgery.
Oh, man.
And they're really not looking forward to it. It'll be my second time, and I'm almost 40, and I'm scared as shit.
Yeah, man. What happened at Bonnaroo?
I don't know what. It was just a big concert. I just had fun hanging out with friends and having a good time, and I just let everything go. I just didn't think about shit. I was just in the moment.
Oh, I thought you went to the hospital at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No. I was in the hospital before I went to Bonnaroo.
Oh, okay.
And then I came home, went to Bonnaroo right after, and then I just had time. It's been on my mind since I got back.
So you have an open heart surgery scheduled?
I don't know. Yes, I have
Okay.
a CE scheduled, and then I have an open heart scheduled. Open heart surgery scheduled probably a month and a half after that. And I'm scared. I'm scared shitless. Because it'll be my second one. I'm almost 40, and it's 4 months downtime.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
It scares the fuck out of me.
So what are they going to do? What's wrong?
So they have, I have mitral valve prolapse, which is like a leaky aortic valve.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to go in and replace it. And I'm going in next Thursday to get it measured, put under, and all that crap. And I'm just scared of the results.
You know what? If there's a time to get an open heart surgery with the advancements in medical technology, now's the time, man. It's the best time to get open heart surgery. If there is a best time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a good time.
This will be my second one. I had one when I was 18, and it wasn't. I jumped back like crazy. It was great. I was in and out of the hospital in 2 days. And
I have a dear friend whose son just went through it. I have a friend whose son has the same thing. He just had open heart surgery 2 years ago. He was 12 years old. He's gonna have to go back in. But I don't know. You're more resilient when you're a kid, and it's a tougher recovery when you're an adult.
Right.
But hey, look at it this way. At least you're not getting this done. At least you're not getting this done in 1924 as opposed to 2024.
That's true. But
Or even the 1980s.
Encouragement, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Rafe, on the radio.
Yeah, bro. Hang in there, man. We're rooting for you. How old are you now?
Love you guys.
He said he's 40.
I'll be 40.
All right. I didn't know if you said you were 40 or pushing 40. Hang in there, brother. We're pulling for you, man. Good talking to you.
Call us and keep us updated.
All right.
Will do, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right. We're out.
Bye.
That's tough.
Yeah. It's not fun. I just kicked myself out of the chat or out of the phone, I think. So you're going to have to patch them into me. Let me know when we got a couple in there. I think we got a couple in the queue. I'll hang on to that one because I don't have them for long because I did have a message come in through the message boards for one Scott Daniel Rizzuto.
Yes.
I don't know if we're even going to get through this before you walk out, but Scott Rizzuto,
yes.
What would you consider to be the best vacation away from your family? Also, what is the best vacation you would take with your wife?
Away from my family? So like me going somewhere by myself without my wife?
Yeah, he wants to know what's solo Riz doing and what's family Riz doing.
Solo Riz is having everybody else leave and I could stay in the house by myself.
For real, that's your dream vacation. You wouldn't go anywhere. If you could be like, for 1 week, Papa can go and just be by himself somewhere.
No, I could be by myself at my house. They could go somewhere.
And scenery means nothing to you.
Listen, I've done that before. It's called Rizcation. That is staying home. staying home.
I believe you can go to curmudgeon.com to book that vacation. Curmudgeon.com. When you don't want to go anywhere and you hate everybody. Curmudgeon.com.
Stay home.
That's actually our sponsor. All right, what are you going to do with the wife and kids then?
Usually a beach vacation is great. Me and the wife can hang out on the beach, but it's got to be a place where there are things my children can do. You know, I got 2 teenagers, so if there's a water park or something, and they don't have to be on top of us all the time, that's perfect.
Do you super dad it when you go, like if you go to a beach vacay, are you going to, does Scott Rizzuto go the extra mile? Does he like go rent wave runners for the kids and take them out on the open ocean?
We'll do that, but usually it takes some pushing from my wife. Like, go do something with the kids. All right.
Yeah, you don't book that stuff ahead of time.
No, I'm a play it by ear guy.
All right. That sound means whatever you want to know or any questions you might have from Scott Rizzuto are going to have to wait till next time because he's literally already out of the room. That concludes the segment I like to call 15 Minutes with Riz, and we'll be back to do the rest of the show right after a word from our sponsor, curmudgeon.com. That's right, curmudgeon.com. Do you hate your family? Do you wish they'd go away? Well, then book yourself a staycation with curmudgeon.com. And we're back, baby. Back to the solo number 2 show. It's just me, Rafe D, sitting here on my potty with my friend Zane over there running everything and looking like he's wiping sweat off his brow. He's running all the cameras. He's moving cameras around. He's putting the numbers up. He's screening phone calls. This kid's a whiz kid, I tell you. I can't thank him enough. Zane Graham is in here every day helping me figure this shit out while I'm having fun talking to you guys live from the bathroom. And I got a whole but dude, I'm excited about the number 2 show's future because I have been busy working with some people here in the building, coming up with segments and things that I want to do. I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of stuff to the show in the upcoming. And I appreciate everybody who's downloading it as a podcast. I intended for this to be a YouTube show, and unbeknownst to me, I'm getting 30 to 50,000 downloads a week in the audio space. People are listening. People are enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of messages from folks, and I'm going to work to try to make it better and better and better so we can have fun together. And I appreciate everybody that tunes in every day live and has fun. Well, almost everybody. You know what I mean? But anyway, do I still have a phone call? Let's do a little phone call email session. We lost him? All right. Well, whoever called in, call back. We lost you. You must have wanted to talk to Riz and gave it up. And let me know when we got more phone calls. Right now, I want to address, I get a lot of emails from you guys. Sometimes they're after the fact. They might be something that we addressed earlier on the show or previous episodes, things of that nature. So I want to be good about going back and answering emails. If you took the time to send it in, I will try to take the time to answer it. So let's go to the email bag. Let's go down the glory hole to Rafe's email bag. See what we have here. All right. Did you get the other ones I sent you, Zane? Check them out and see if you can find them. If not, that's okay. This is from Landon. Landon says, "Hey, Rafe, I always wondered how you started your career as a comedian and what it takes to start that career. I always thought about doing stand-up comedy ever since I graduated high school a full year ago, and my main goal was to be the class clown, which I was awarded." Well done, Landon. Congratulations. That's a good start. My yearbook picture is me and my buddy in golden jackets looking at the camera for the class clown photo. That was information I didn't need. I got a lot of stories like that, but I also grew up on a farm in southern Illinois, so I'm not sure if I'd ever be able to have the time to do comedy, even though I love making people laugh. Just thought I'd get your opinion on these things. Sorry for the long message. Have a good one, Rave. Love, Landon. Landon. Good question, dog. Here's what I'll tell you, man. I lived in southern Illinois. I moved to St. Louis because I had to be near where comedy was happening. There wasn't a lot of open mics because the thing about stand-up comedy is different than making your friends laugh is your friends will wait 5 minutes for you to get to the funny part. An audience will wait about 30 seconds. So you got to hone those skills and be able to kind of get to the funny fast. And then once you get good at that, you can start breaking those rules. You know, you can start figuring out how to be a storytelling comic or things like that. But even in the art of storytelling, comedy is to make it look effortless, like you're just talking off the top of your head. But there's jokes in there, and those jokes are very purposeful. And you kind of have to hone that skill. And I hate to be the guy that's like, it's 10,000 hours. It may not be 10,000 hours. It depends on your proclivity for what you're doing. But I think there's no substitute for stage time. You have to get over being scared. You got to get somewhere where there's open mics and there's shows that you can get on as an amateur, and you got to go up in front of audiences, and you got to embrace the bomb, brother. You're going to do well. Usually one of two things happens at your first 2 open mics. You do well on the first one, and you eat shit on the second one because you're overconfident, or you eat shit on the first one, and you have the confidence to come back and do it again, and you do okay, and then you either got the bug or you don't. And the other thing I'll say, that advice I give to a lot of new comedians starting out is remember that you're failing forward, all right? That's important. And also, besides stage time, you're going to bomb, but here's what I'll tell you about the bomb. Listen closely, Landon. Open your ears and let this get into your brain. You can minimize the amount of times that you fail on stage, and it's in direct proportion to the amount of work you're willing to do off stage. Now, what I mean by that is jokes are like any other craft. You have to work on them. So when you go up on stage, you should record your set, okay? You go home and you listen to it. Say you did 5 minutes. You listen to that 5 minutes and you look at the piece of paper you wrote all your jokes down on. Did you say the jokes like you wrote them, or did you get nervous and fuck up the punchline? Assess where you're at. Assess why a joke worked or why it didn't. When a joke does work, it stays in your act. You're like, okay, I know that one works. Now what? Okay, this one ate a dick. Fine. Can I write a new joke? Is there a way to rephrase that joke? And you can look up all of the joke structures and laugh triggers online. I believe there's 13 of them. So look up the 13 joke triggers. You can find them online. There's a good book called The Comedy Bible. It's a starting book. It basically tells you how to piece together a set up, punchline, all the basics of comedy. Then if you go home and you're willing to put in some hours working off stage, working on memorization, working on your presentation of the jokes, you'll find that you get much better as time goes on, because you're getting on stage. Because otherwise you're getting your 10,000 hours 3 minutes at a time, because an open mic is very short. You get about 3 to 5 minutes. If the only time you spend in there is your 3 to 5 minutes on stage, it's going to take you a long time to get your hours up. But if you sit your ass in a seat and you watch all the other comics perform, you can learn a lot, because you're going to see some pros go up on open mics, and you're going to see the difference between professional work and amateur work, what works and what doesn't. And if you watch a whole open mic, that's 2 hours at a time instead of 5 minutes. And then if you go home and you work for 5 hours a week, you got 7 hours logged that week. And I hate to tell you, comedy is just like any other job. The more time you dedicate to it, the better you will get at it. And I will end on this, and it's true in every single aspect of life, and it's especially true in comedy because I've seen it happen. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. So if you're talented and you got a natural proclivity and you're the class clown, Landon, and you think that's going to be enough to get you over the hump, I can promise you, brother, it won't. But if you're willing to work and you got a natural ability, you're going to progress a lot faster. So I'm rooting for you, buddy. If you move up here to St. Louis, or if you ever want to come to an open mic, hit me up. I'll see what I can do. I'll be happy to watch your set and give you notes. So, that being said, peace out. Do we have any phone calls before I move on to another email? Okay, let's take a look at the live chat. See if anything's going on in here besides trash talking. I don't see anything. Someone removed a message. Zane, how you feeling, buddy? How's life in Zane's world?
It's good. Doing well.
It's good. He's a man of few words. Best color man in the league right there. Doing well.
Thanks for asking.
Someone said, Rafe, what are your plans for the Limp Bizkit tryout? Okay, for those of you that don't know, this is an interesting one for me to address, okay? There's a Limp Bizkit concert coming up in the city I live in. My sister companion show is called The Rizzuto Show. We are a morning talk radio show here in St. Louis, Missouri that plays alternative music. We don't actually play music. We just talk trash for 4 hours a day, but the channel plays music. We were reached out to. We were contacted by Fred Durst's management team saying he would like for a radio DJ, a morning personality, to join him on stage to sing a song. We've turned it into a contest in which we have to make some sort of music video for Fred Durst. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Again, the number is 818-532-1420. Feel free to call in. That's 818-532-1420. Let's workshop this as a group. What should I do? What would impress Fred Ichabod Durst? Famous singer of Limp Bizkit, an American icon, red-hatted icon, probably responsible for more sales of red hats than the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds combined. The answer is I don't know. I don't know what Fred seems like he's got a sense of humor. I am leaning towards doing something very much in the theme of the number 2 show. You know? I've got the set. I've got the toilets. This looks like a rock and roll. What I'm thinking I might do is actually try to bring some musicians in and do a live version of the song right here in the shitters. I ain't lip syncing. I ain't phoning it in. I ain't using no bells and whistles. I'm using 2 glory holes, my hands and my lips, chocolate flavored hot dog, starfish, double. I get 2 hot dogs through here. I go double time on those. Wow. That's right. There's our clip. Zane, isolate that. This is going to be our clip this week. Fred Durst, I'm your guy. I'm bringing 2 hot dogs through the glory holes. And then I'm going to sing your song. And let me tell you something, brother. If that doesn't win, I don't know what you want from me, Limp Bizkit, because it don't get more limper or biscuity than that. So that's probably my plan as of right now. But I will take any suggestions you guys might have. Feel free to email me if you got a good idea for... Maybe you're a budding filmmaker and you have an idea to shoot a video that'll help get me over the hump. I'm going to have a hard time beating some of the people in that room. Moon's a professional musician. That's Moon Valjean. Learn is a classically trained fan. She's loved Limp Bizkit. She had posters up. She performs in the band called Lane Narrows every weekend. She's like Lady Lee Roth. She has the energy of a band frontman. So I've got a lot of... Now, I'm a comedian. I got chops. I'm not afraid to get up in front of an audience. I'm not afraid to get up there by myself. I don't even have fucking music, okay? I don't have Wes. You know how good at comedy I'd be if I had Wes over there to my right playing a hot riff every time I hit a punchline? Yeah. I can tell you this, I'd have millions of followers if I had Wes. So they have an advantage over me because they have people supporting them. But you know what? I'm not afraid to be a lone wolf, and I think Fred Durst will relate to that. Fred seems like a bit of a lone wolf. I'll turn my little hat around backwards and I'll party with Fred. But anyway, send me some suggestions if you have any ideas, and I will be happy to entertain them, maybe even discuss them on the air here on the number 2 show. Who knows? Life is crazy. And with that, I'm going to go into our next commercial break, and I'll be back, and I'm going to go through some other messages that you guys have sent, some pretty fun would you rathers and things of that nature. So right now, let's break for a word from our sponsor, Curmudgeon.com. Curmudgeon.com. Would you rather punch your family in the face and go to Florida again this year? Then go to Curmudgeon.com, type in promo code Scott Rizzuto, and you get 20% off your staycation where you stay at home while your family goes and actually has a good time for a change without you bitching the whole time about how much it costs and how hot it is outside. Curmudgeon.com. And we're back. I hope you guys scheduled a great staycation. Now I would like to get into a couple of little emails and messages that have been sent in the past. Some of these are really provocative questions, people. I don't know what I'm going to say about them. I don't know what we're going to do about them. If you do want to talk to me, though, I will take phone calls also during this segment. That's 818-532-1420. 818-532-1420. Feel free to call me and talk to me about anything we talked about today. You got something going on in your life you need advice about, I'm happy to do that too. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. All right, let's get into this. Zane, just let me know if somebody calls, my brother.
Yeah, I also sent you a document on your computer.
You did.
Some additional.
Ooh, let me see what I got here. In my email?
No, on your actual laptop.
Oh, where's that? Oh, look at this. Accept. We're in the future, guys. Look at this. I'm accepting an airdrop live from Zane's MacBook Pro. It says options. Open. I'm going to say open the doc. Yeah, let's get into this. Here we go. What are these messages from, bud? These from the drop down?
Yes.
All right, let's get into this. We'll do these instead. Thanks for messaging in. Hi. I work in a shared space as part of a larger group. The people who share the space with me trash the place almost daily. I start my first day at 6 and frequently come into it being a goddamn disaster. I hate this already for you. I've talked to them, posted passive-aggressive signs, and even gone to management. Nothing changes as these people are technically higher up in the company. What else can I do? If I don't clean up after them, the place is a fucking sty and impossible to work in. Are there any fun pranks I can do that'll help me feel better but not get me fired? Thanks. Love the show, Jen. Thank you, Jen. I feel for you. I wish I knew where you worked. But let's just assume we're in an office space of some kind. I do empathize with you because it is hard. We all share an office. I don't go in there much. It's a little overcrowded with 4 people. I've made my office, I found like a cubby hole right here in my toilet. I come in here and work in the morning. I actually sit on my toilet. I pull this desk out, and this is where I prep for the other show, the other radio show, because there ain't nobody in here but me. And I like it. But if you can't find your own personal space and you got to clean up after these jamonis, here's what I'll tell you. There's 2 things you can do. You can go full, you can fight fire with fire. Let's start there. You can get nasty. If they like it nasty, show them how nasty you can make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring in salmon every day. Bring in fish, heat it up in the microwave. Forget it's in there. Leave it. Leave it for somebody else to clean up. Don't put a cover on it. Make it somebody else's problem. Take an upper decker. Go into the bathroom, drop one in the top of the tank when everyone can't figure out why the water's brown. Let them flush a few times. Let them follow the stink. Let them get outraged. See how they feel about you stinking up their work environment, and then maybe something will click, like an after-school special, like when you stand up to a bully, all of a sudden the bully realizes bullying's wrong, and then they've learned the error of their ways, and they'll start taking up for themselves. Most likely that won't happen. So here's plan number 2. There are a lot of fun pranks you can do. They can help you feel better and not get you fired. But if you get caught, you're going to get fired either way. So tread lightly on these, but I will tell you some stuff I used to do when I was in school. There's always the old saran wrap over the toilet paper or over the toilet bowl trick. I don't know if you work with men or women, but it's funny every time. If you can put saran wrap tightly over the toilet seat and you can make it where there's no glare, can't let it sag at all. It's got to be tight as a drum. You got to take a razor knife, cut it off right around the edges so they can't see any of the plastic. And what will happen is somebody will sit down to pee or poop, hopefully poop, and they're pooping right back into their own buttholes. And that's funny no matter what. If they pee, if it's a lady and they pee, it's coming right down over the top into their drawers. And if it's a dude, he's pissing all over his own knees. He's going to have splash zone everywhere. That's funny. I don't care how you slice that up. That's hilarious. You can also do stuff to their office. You could do stuff. If you know that they like to live in filth, get filthy. Anything. Here's the easy thing to do. You can rub your ass and your nether regions all over anything you want. You're the first one there. You get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't clean stuff up. Dirty it up for them. They want to live like hogs. Show them how real hogs live. And you'll know in your head when he picks up that stapler, that was in my ass this morning. Think about that. When Don from accounting, who outranks you, puts that coffee mug to his lips, you can be like, I literally touched my butthole and touched the whole rim of that coffee glass. So enjoy my butthole coffee, Don. That's a victimless. That is not a victimless crime. There's definitely a victim there, and it's Don. But you will feel better, and you won't get caught because I don't think they can prove you're doing that. But if you get caught on camera, there might be a national story. So you decide how much you hate these people. Don't take my advice as gospel. Just take it into consideration. Thank you for asking the number 2 show for help. Thank you, Jen. Let's get on to the next one. Hey, Rafe. I was just wondering if you can talk about the Netflix is a joke thing that you attended. I want to hear about your celebrity encounters and the conversations you had with each of them and how all of that went if you get time. Thank you, Michael. Well, Michael, I had a great time at Netflix as a Joke Fest. It happens in Los Angeles every 2 years. It's such a huge festival, they can't even do it yearly. It takes 2 years to plan. This year was the first year I was invited. I attended it the first year, but as a support act with Trailer Trash Tammy. I was invited as a comedian this year, which was a nice little feather in my cap as a comic to show that my career is progressing nicely, and that makes me feel happy. And I had a good time. I had a really surreal moment. I don't get starstruck often. I will tell you that, Michael. But I did have a moment where I was they had a little tent set up behind the Hollywood Palladium that was like a hangout for all the comics to hang out, and I was like seeing some pretty famous faces. So, I saw Bert Kreischer, I see Tom Segura, I saw Bill Burr. I was like, these people I didn't get to talk to them. Some of them I know, some I've worked with some, I ran into Jay Farrow and did a show with him, and he was great. And I did a show with Nicole Byer, hung out with her for a while. So I feel like I'm friends with some big A-list comedians. Beth Stelling was there. I talked to her. Kyle Kinane's a good friend of mine. But I looked over at one point, and I saw Caroline Ray, Jerry Seinfeld, and Jim Gaffigan standing in a gaggle together, having like a three-way conversation. And those are like comedy legends, dude. So there was a moment that I looked over and I was like, there's no way I would go over there and join that conversation. And I just did not have it in me to even try that. It would have been, but I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm sitting here under a tent eating off a charcuterie board like a little raccoon, just gobbling up blue cheese tapenade and some jelly on a cracker. And there's Seinfeld, Gaffigan, and Caroline Ray, three legends of the biz, just shooting shit, just hanging out 3 feet away from me. And I got to have that cool moment in your career where you're like, hey, man, this is cool. Take a moment, take a pause, put this in your heart. Like you worked hard for this. It's been a long time. You may never achieve their level of success and fame, but you're at least in the arena, right? And that's all you can ask for in any art form. You don't get to pick who's going to be on the Mount Rushmore of anything, but if you work hard, you can get in the arena, and that was a pretty cool moment. Other than that, one of the funniest things, and I love this guy, dude. I don't know if you guys know who Mark Reboucher, is that his name? Zane? Is that right? The guy that, you've probably seen him on Instagram where he's like doing all the, wake up, get the fuck up. He's like the DJ. Because right now there's a resurgence in comedy, and I'll talk about it. I usually don't dive in. I don't like to criticize other comedians because comedy is subjective. Some people don't like what I do. You may love Jeff Dunham. That's fine. You may like racist puppets. That's fine. It's the puppets that are racist. It's not Jeff. So, right now there's a big resurgence. We kind of went through this whole, you can't say anything in comedy without making people mad. You can't do this, you can't do that. And now there's kind of a pendulum shift where everyone's saying the F word and the R word pretty regularly again on stage. And I'll be honest, it's not very nuanced. I don't have a problem with language. You can say whatever you want. I honestly don't care. I think any subject can be joked about if it's done well and by a professional. I really do believe that. But that's not always happening. A lot of times it's being done very clunkily by somebody who's not, just wants to call the cashier at Trader Joe's the R word. There's nothing nuanced about that to me. I just feel like you're celebrating it. And at some point, that's going to put us back in a pendulum shift where we can't say anything again because it's going to get abused by everybody. And comedians can't wrap their mind around hey, man, earn it. If you're going to say it, earn it. That's all I ask out of anybody. But that's considered, edgelord comedy, right? That's what they call it, edgelord comedy. But then I watched this guy, Mark Reboucher. I'm probably saying that wrong, man. Let's look that up. That's worth looking up, bud. Because I want to give this guy a shout out. He doesn't need it. He's killing it. I got to close that out. My computer's completely off now. That's not a good sign. I'm back. Did you find it? Reboucher. Mark Reboucher. Yes. M-A-R-C-R-E-B-I-L-L-E-T. Mark Reboucher. He is hilarious, dude. So all these edgelords are doing all this, comedy that's one rung above, trolls in the chat room who think they're funny. And they're not. And the real edgelord of the Netflix festival was this dude, man. Because he went on stage, getting paid by the festival, a lot of money. He DJ'd this big event. And he does a completely improvised DJ show where he's making up the beats and making up the tracks as he goes. And he set the crowd up. It's the ultimate edgelord because he was punching up instead of down. So he's at the Netflix festival. It's $1 billion company. They're paying him to be there, and he gets the crowd going by saying, who here watches their stories on Hulu? And the crowd's like, boo. And he's like, fuck Hulu. And he's like, who here wants to binge season 6 on Max? And everyone's like, boo, Max. And he goes, fuck Max. And he's putting a beat behind it. And then he goes, who here likes to watch their programs on the award-winning Netflix? And everyone cheers, yeah. And he goes, fuck Netflix. They don't own me. And then he roasted Netflix for an hour to the point that he found out the president of Netflix's name, and he made the crowd chant, fuck that guy, at an event that guy was paying for. And I was like, this guy's the true edgelord of comedy. And it was one of the best encounters. I laughed harder at that show than I did at any comedy show the entire time I was at the Netflix festival. And so to me, that was a highlight of the Netflix festival, Michael. Thank you for calling in. And if you get a chance, check out Mark Rabelais. He's a breath of fresh air. And he's a very talented guy. I didn't realize how talented he was until I saw him live. So if you get a chance, go check him out live. And the beats are good. The music's good. It's a fun hang. And with that, do we have any callers? No callers. We are going to take our second word from our sponsor, break, curmudgeon.com. Are you like Scott Rizzuto? Do you wish you never had a family? Well, curmudgeon.com can make that a thing for at least 1 or 2 days. Go to curmudgeon.com and type in promo code RIZSUCKS. That's RIZZSUX, RIZSUCKS. And you'll get 25% off of your next staycation where you send your family to the gulag in Russia for 1 week. Yes, they think they're going to Boca Raton, Florida, but they're actually going to a Russian prison where they'll be served bread and water in the confines of a cold, cold cell for 1 week while you stay at home, catch up on sports, MMA, and eat Cheetos without wiping your fingers on anything but the couch cushions. Curmudgeon.com. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
And we are back, baby. Thank you guys for watching today. Let's get into the wrap-up. Now, it's the end of the show. We talked about a lot of cool stuff today. We had a guy call in. He's worried about his heart surgery. Man, I'm pulling for you, brother. We talked about at the top of the show, you know, is it okay to have an arranged marriage situation? We talked about a guy who's pretty rich and old, but he's got a hot young wife, and she gets an allowance based on the fact if she maintains a certain weight. Now, while saying that out loud does make me feel like I need to go take a shower, maybe. We live in a world now where that's a victimless crime. If she knows the deal and she's getting to spend his money and he's old and he knows she's chasing his money, does that make it okay? Probably not. I mean, from a moral standpoint, I feel like both people need to have their heads examined. But hell, you know what? There's room under the tent of the number 2 show for everybody. So if you're out there, you're that dude, and you're like, hey, man, fuck you. I like a hot young wife. Cool, man. Just keep watching. And if you're that chick and you're watching, you're like, hey, I don't mind being skinny as long as I get that bag, baby, then go ahead and keep watching. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm pushing you out from under the tent, because I'm not. I want everybody to be able to have a good time, hang out, and live their lives. We also talked about internet trolls. The most useless, maybe the most useless people on the planet. They literally serve no purpose other than their own devices. And they're always very, very sad individuals who don't have any actual talent of their own. And it's a bummer, but they do exist. And you got to try not to let them get under your skin. Man, I get people trolling me all the time. They'll call me, they'll say I'm not funny. They'll say that I'm fat. They'll say that I'm ugly. They'll compare me to something that they think is insulting to me. It doesn't bother me, man. I find it kind of sad and funny at the same time, but not funny in a way that's like, oh, that was a good one. It's funny in a way of like, oh, this is this person's life, dude. They're sitting at home alone. I'm getting paid to be here. I'm on the payroll. I'm creating a product that I'm proud of, that I'm the front man for. And you are sitting at home by yourself, making no money, talking into a chat room that doesn't care about what you think or what you say. And on the worst days, you're mean and filled with vitriol. And on your best days, you're a fucking hack. That's your best day. On your best day as an internet troll, you're a fucking hack. And that's sad, man. But if that's what you like to do, I guess keep doing it. Because it's the same thing as, like, you know, the guy that wants to keep his chick underweight, or the money grubbing whore that wants to stay skinny for a bag of money instead of earning it herself. If that's who you are at your core, then I guess your core is just rotten. And I can't change that about you. So keep being a rotten piece of shit and hopping on and making fun of people wildly more talented than you. If that makes you happy, we can live with it. It comes with the job. We don't mind it at all. But as an alternative, may I offer, look inward, make some changes, create art. The best way to fight art is with art. If you don't like what someone else is doing, make something different, make something better, make something that you think is a better version of that. Even if you got to start like this, I'm on YouTube. Sometimes people watch it on YouTube, sometimes they don't. I get a lot of downloads. I'm always appreciative. Anybody who's tuning in, I'm happy to see you. If I got to get fans at one person at a time, I don't care if 10 people watch this stream or 10,000. I appreciate you being here, because in the long run, I'm spending time with you. You're spending time with me. You're taking a dump. I'm taking a dump. There's an exchange of ideas happening here, and I'm all about that. That's what art, entertainment, and love is all about. So until next time, please keep watching the Number 2 show, you potty people, and keep being as positive as you can. Don't be an internet troll. Be a cool person in the chat. And if you can't do that, well, we can always just block you. Thanks for watching the Number 2 show. Until next time, always wipe front to back, and always remember at least 3 swipes to get it clean. I'm Rafe Williams. Thank you for watching this week's Number 2 show.